Bonjour. Nope, this is not a French video, more on that soon. Recently, I looked at the news and I couldn't help but think we're closer to have our fursonas becoming real than we'd ever imagine. A company called 1X Technologies showcased a humanoid robot capable of learning tasks, moving fluidly, and even communicating in ways that feel too human. I'll show you a bit of the promotional clip.
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
If you know by any chance the now old movie I, Robot, or even the most recent Detroit Become Human, both amazing by the way, you should check them out, you should get what I mean by unsettledly human. And that got me thinking, what happens when this kind of technology hits our world and meets our world? When AI robotics finally collide with the furry fandom? Let's dive in a thoughtful, a little eerie and almost Black Mirror but introspective speculation. Welcome to the future furry when AI and robotics enter the fandom. And since this topic is going to be more or less speculative, do know that I'm sharing my own thoughts and interpretations of where things could go, not prediction of what will happen. Some of what I described might sound concerning, but that doesn't mean it's destined to happen. It's just one possible future through my lens. And even if it were to happen, well, I'll be more than happy to see if I were right or wrong with my speculations. Anyway, let's get back to it. For years, the furry fandom has revolved around imagination. We draw, write, and perform to explore versions of ourselves that can't really exist physically, supposedly. Our fursonas are, in a way, our personal mythology, living in sketches, in stories, all behind a fursuit head. I don't want to say our personal religion, because with what I see recently going on, at least when I'm preparing my script, on some social platforms with Garo Shadow Scale, aka the $500 20-minute Discord call, yeah, I want to play it safe. But, with the train of innovation never stopping, and time always ticking, we may bring this mythology to reality. Robots like the ones 1X is building, and AI models that can speak, learn, and move, like the one in the 1X robot. We are not talking about imagination anymore. Religiousification, no we're not. We're talking about projection. A fursona that could, one day, stand beside you, talk to you, move with your gestures. And I would believe just this fursobot existing would make 95% of the community dreams come true. And that might sound like far-off science fiction, but if you've ever been to a furry convention, I hope, you know how quickly things evolve and change, and how out of the world the ambience is. So, more or less of this. 10 years ago, having a fully functional animatronic head was a rare sight, beside a few exceptions being Disneyland, Boston Dynamics, and of course a pizzeria. And now it's becoming a regular thing, if not soon an item for mass distribution, if you're either ready to spend $500 a month or 20,000 cold cash immediately. Oh well, hey, we're furries, we're rich, aren't we? So it's not so crazy that the conventions of the future could have robots shaped like furries walking around, some AI-powered suits that respond naturally, remember faces, and even talk. Imagine commissioning not just a fursuit, but a furry android, a furbot as already said, a fully functional representation of your fursona, powered by your voice, your gestures, and your emotions. Once again, and even with the possibility of being it. As we already do so with VR chat and other VR social platforms, we could gear up and be that said robot. At least 1X proposed this feature already, so in the future having those, it could be very much possible. Side point, I know there is two teams in this fandom. Those who want to have their fursona exist IRL, and those who want to be their fursona IRL. And this could do both, more or less. So yeah, we already commission art and digital avatars. Bonjour. But what happens if the next step is commissioning an AI, a custom personality, trained to act, to speak, and even move like your character? Like you. That might sound like the ultimate dream for some, for others maybe a bit unsettling. However, the truth is it's no longer if. Once again, it's when. Because as technology keeps merging with art, the line between performer, suit, and self keeps getting thinner by the year. And that raises a strange question. If an AI can take your fursona, your voice, and your personality, is it still you? We already have AI-generated art and voice clones. While they're convenient, they also create a quiet unease. Because the more real they become, the less we seem to own ourselves. Beside the fact that AI-generated art and voices still needs human assistance, or it will be self-breeding with already existing AI stuff. And I don't think I have to explain why it's bad. The furry fandom in particular has always been a space for self-expression, about controlling your image, your identity, and your story, from yours to the one of your fursona. But what happened when a synthetic version of your fursona exists without your full control? When others can train AI on your art or on your character? Yep, it's already happening. Or even create their own versions of you. Sounds absolutely cursed. It's not just a technological issue, it's a deeply philosophical one. At what point your fursona stops being a reflection and start being a separate entity? And yet, it's not all doom and gloom. We can imagine a future where AI and robotics actually enhance what we do. A con where fursuits move, with servos and sensors, reacting naturally to emotion, and capable of action, with the possibility to feel those said actions and reactions, controlling it with VR gear and stuff. Also, imagine assisting at a con, from your home, while you ship your fursobot over there, and being able to interact with people, without the hole in your wallet from going, staying, and eating at that said convention. I mean, you'll still have the hole from buying the bot, fursona. Having a physical and real fursona that can draw, talk, or even collaborate with you as a creative partner. And in other cases, just as a partner. Because I know, and you know, what some of us would do. Either to our own fursobots or others' fursobots. We could be entering a new era where being furry literally means shaping your identity. Not just in art, but in a physical, independent form. And for those who watched my previous video about Sora AI, you might remember what I said about adaptation and reflection. The same applies here. This possible future, one where artificial beings and AI coexist with us, isn't something to fear outright, but something we might have to prepare for. It's going to require everyone, from artists to fans to event organizers, to think carefully about how we define authorship, presence, and creativity. The fandom has always evolved with technology and it will have to evolve again. The danger isn't the technology itself, it's in forgetting why we created those characters in the first place. But at its pure core, the fandom has always been about emotions, about empathy, creativity, and imagination. Those are things no machine can truly replicate. So maybe the real challenge for the future furry isn't whether we can bring our fursonas to life, but whether we'll remember why we wanted to do it in the first place. Technology will evolve, AI will improve, and maybe one day you'll walk beside a version of your fursona that emulates breathing, blinks, and speaks with your voice. But that spark, that deeply human spark that made you want to create them, that's still something no algorithm can create. Because as said, it's human, because you're alive, because you're a living being. Well, thanks for listening. Do let me know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to this? Or not at all? Or just curious to see how it's going to be? I'm curious about your opinions. In any case, have a good day. Have a good night, stay safe, and I'll catch you later. Au revoir.